What's up guys, this is Musick and welcome to my top 5 tips for beginner guitarists. I wanted to sit down and make a video like this because I see a lot of comments from people saying that they're just picking up guitar for the first time and that I inspire them to play, which is crazy. As far as it goes for my history with YouTube, I started out making music videos on a different channel called Musick. I switched over to making gaming videos and now we have a whole separate channel for doing some music stuff, And on top of that too, I also did a 3-part series on Nerd Plays that was doing like beginner, intermediate, and expert advice for guitar. First things first, picking the right guitar. This bad boy right here, no, that's not it. No, that's a quality instrument. What is this guy talking about? Unsub right now. But for this video specifically, we're gonna be diving into 5 tips that will definitely help beginner guitarists, and it also will help people out who have been playing for quite some time too. No matter how long you've been playing for, you can always take in some new advice and tips, and I think it'll be helpful no matter what. Let's start with our first tip. Train to fail. If you haven't heard this term before, it's probably gonna sound a little weird, like, why would you train to ultimately just be a failure? That's not exactly what I'm going for here. This is a term that gets thrown around quite frequently when it comes to like going to the gym and working out, training to failure. It basically means just try to push the boundaries of what you can do as a player. It's going to be really difficult to try to see improvement as a guitar player if you're not challenging yourself. For example, I'll try to play something that might be comfortable to play. I can't believe I just played that. That is an example of something that would be pretty easy to play, and if you only play stuff like that, you're not really challenging yourself. So if you want to get better, find something that's kind of difficult to play and just keep working at it. When you're playing guitar and you get to that point where you're failing at playing something, that means that there is room for improvement, and that means you should keep working at it. Yeah. Tip number 2, start slow, finish fast. Playing something that's slow and articulated is always going to sound better than something fast and sloppy. So if you're trying to learn like a new riff or something or a new song, start it out slow. You can do this by practicing with a metronome at a slower BPM. I also have a project called Capo. I'm not sure if it's a Mac exclusive program, but it allows you to slow down songs in real time. This is a very useful practicing tool because you can use this to slow down songs and practice them at slower speeds. And let's say you don't have the tabs or the sheet music to a certain song, you can use this program to try to ear train it. And slowing it down but still having the real-time pitch is very useful for trying to figure out certain notes. This is not a sponsored video. I wasn't paid by Capo to say this. I just like the program. Tip number 3, diversify your tastes. The beautiful thing about this is that it can be applied to pretty much everything. It can be new scales, new chords, new styles of music. When you're actively seeking out and trying to do new things on the guitar, it can do tremendous things for your playing. I'll give you a perfect example. Young Death Stare Erik, when he was first playing guitar, was mostly listening to, like classic rock kind of stuff, your Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith, Black Sabbath, the typical kind of like radio hits rock stuff that was playing at the time. It's kind of weird saying that because, those songs weren't new, those were like the hits from the 80s and the 90s and stuff, and I'm not bashing on classic rock at all. There are actually some great songs, great music, and things that will help you grow as a musician. This is just what happened to me. This is my example, so I think around that time I might have been taking guitar lessons for roughly about a year or 2, and that's when I noticed this at my guitar lesson. My guitar teacher at the time had this Surfing with the Alien book. I was really interested in the artwork, so I ended up picking up the CD. And I think it's safe to say that after hearing Surfing with the Alien for the very first time, my mind was blown. The first thing I wanted to do the next guitar lesson was try to break down this song and learn it. And I'm pretty sure the legato lick that's used after the first part of the solo is what I ended up like playing over and over and over again, just that constant repetition of trying to get really good at it and play it perfectly. I'm pretty sure this guitar is an F standard, so it's not gonna sound right, but yeah, guys, discovering Satriani's music was like my first big musical breakthrough. It's what allowed me to really work on my technical playing. And then after that, that's when I discovered Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, Yngwie Malmsteen, all those kinds of, amazing guitarists. And the whole thing kind of just snowballed from there. But even though all of those people I just named are exceptional guitarists, you still don't want to get like trapped in the idea that you can really only play certain kinds of music and certain kinds of styles. Do your best to try to keep an open mind and keep learning, especially at the beginner stage, because there is so much to learn. Tip number 4, work ethic. Practice as much as possible and practice with a purpose. This kind of goes back to the first tip, but I'll explain a little bit more. If you really want to, when you're practicing, you can keep playing the same things over and over and over again, and that's fine, especially at the beginner level where you really need to just kind of work on rudiments and stuff like that. A lot of the kind of basic grindy stuff that will help you out a lot as a player. I just kind of realized now that this is more of like an intermediate to professional guitarist kind of tip. Like pretty much anything in life, once you break past that barrier of being a beginner, it feels like it's more difficult to actually climb and get better. When you're a guitar noob, there's plenty of room for for improvement, but once you start to get better and better, it feels like it's more difficult to actually, you know, challenge yourself and see even more improvement. So whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or professional kind of guitarist, you know, keep trying to figure out what it is you need to do to push yourself to the next level. But this tip, work ethic, actually goes beyond just playing the guitar. This tip also includes taking care of your instrument and making sure that everything is working and set up properly. Especially for new guitarists, make sure that you stay in tune, learn how to make the proper adjustments to your guitar, and maintain it. It can make a huge difference in your playing. And my fifth and final tip for this video: give yourself a break. Similar to working out and training, you need to be able to give yourself a break physically. And mentally, you also need to do your best to try not to go too hard on yourself. It takes time, a lot of time, to perfect your craft and to work on those skills. The number one worst thing you can do as a new guitarist is quit. If you give up playing guitar because it's too hard, you're never gonna get any better. And getting better at guitar is not gonna happen overnight, so you need to pace yourself. Physically pace yourself by not overdoing it, and also mentally pace yourself and realize that it's gonna take months and months of hard work to get to where you need to be. Working towards mastering anything in life is going to be like a marathon, not a sprint. Unless, of course, you want to be an Olympic sprinter. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 5 tips for new guitarists. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see some more music videos like this one, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you guys later.